North York has a rich history. The corresponding historical artifacts are also extremely rich. Today, I'm pleased to introduce a historical artifact preserved in the Gibson House Museum that is related to the Finch family. The protagonist today is here, a child's rocking chair. It originally belonged to Cora Pearl Finch, the descendant of the Finch family. The well-known Finch Avenue is named after her grandfather, John Finch. Cora Pearl Finch was born on December 9, 1891. This little rocking chair was created for her in the 1890s. It's 27.5 inches in height, handmade and hand-painted. The measurements of various parts of the chair are as follows. Mr. Douglas Wardle is the donor of the chair to the Gibson House Museum. Mr. Wardle's mother-in-law was friends with Cora Pearl Finch. Miss Finch gave the chair to the couple of Wardle in the 1950s, when their daughter was born. Mr. Wardle's wife, Rita Wardle, passed away on November 20th, 2013. She was a member of the North York Historical Society for decades. In December 2013, Mr. Wardle donated the child rocking chair to the Gibson House Museum. We believe it is also Mrs. Rita Wardle's will. We are grateful to Mr. Douglas Wardle and Mrs. Rita Wardle, who provided the artifact for us to learn about the Finch family history through it. In the video below, some headlines are given about relevant historical figures, events, and buildings to help viewers better understand the historical background and local history. John Finch was well known for operating hotels in Newton Brook in the 1800s. Newton Brook is the area along Yonge Street with the boundaries of Finch and Steeles Avenues on the north-south direction and Dufferin and Leslie Streets on the west-east direction. The community took its name from the Newton Brook Wesleyan Methodist Church, founded in 1857 at 5642 Yonge Street and demolished in 1951. The Newton Brook Wesleyan Methodist Church is also the birthplace of Lester Bowles Pearson. He was the 1957 Nobel Peace Prize winner and Canada's 14th Prime Minister from 1963 to 1968. Pearson's birthplace is now part of the site of the North American Center at 5700 Yonge Street. A plaque was set up at the entrance to the center about the birthplace of Lester. About 1820, John Montgomery and his father Alexander built the Bird in Hand Inn on the east side of Yonge Street, about a quarter of a mile north of Finch Avenue. It's John Montgomery's first tavern. It was a gorgeous two-story frame building with a center hall. In 1827, the house was divided because of a family disagreement. Alexander lived in the north half of the building, while John continued to operate the south half as an inn. When John opened Montgomery's Tavern on Yonge Street near Eglinton Avenue in the 1830s, he leased his Newton Brook building to John Finch. There's another little episode. In 1837, Montgomery's Tavern was rented to John Linfoot a week before the rebellion, when the Montgomery family moved back to Newton Brook. The rebels made it their headquarters for the attack on Toronto, and it was burned to the ground during the skirmish. Now, Montgomery Square has been built at 2384 Yonge Street. Two large stainless steel gates evoke Montgomery's Tavern. Back to John Finch, he came from England. He made a name for himself as an innkeeper. In 1847, John Finch closed the Bird in the Hand Inn and bought 200 acres of land on the north side of Finch Avenue east of Yonge Street. Thomas Johnson, a pioneer of North York, settled on the land first in 1798. Then, John Montgomery took over the farmland in 1815. After John Finch bought it in 1847, he built a new two-story hotel on his farmland, known as Finch's Hotel. On September 20th, 1848, he advertised in the British Colonist, stating that he had opened his new and capacious hotel. The house and outbuildings are entirely new. The subscriber will always take care to have his larder well stored and his wine and spirit cellar well supplied with genuine articles. His stabling shall be well regulated, so that every comfort may at all times be depended upon at Finch's Hotel. Finch's Hotel was held in high esteem for its excellent cooking. It was patronized by the official set in Toronto and also by many of the retired officer settlers in the Lake Simcoe area, who found it a favorite destination for excursion parties. In 1851, Finch had a bylaw passed in order to allow a traveling circus to perform on the grounds. Later, Finch's hotel was leased to various innkeepers. In 1873, Finch's hotel was sold to Charles McBride, who tore it down and used the lumber to build the Bedford Park Hotel. We went to the hotel site hoping to find the lumber from the Finch's hotel, but the Bedford Park Hotel had also been demolished. Charles McBride and his brother David McBride were the fourth family generation in Canada. One of the McBride houses, built by David McBride in 1860, still stands on Bayview Avenue. There's another little episode. In 1843, John Montgomery returned to Yonge Street and rebuilt the second Montgomery's Tavern a little south of the first one, which was burned in the 1837 rebellion. Charles McBride bought the tavern in 1858 and gave it a new name, Prospect House. It was destroyed by fire in 1881. John Finch died in 1884, leaving the farm to his family. The staff of Gibson House Museum conducted research on the Canada Census and revealed important information about the family. In the 1901 Canada Census, it was recorded. John Finch's son, John Davidson Finch, was born on March 22, 1837, and married Lydia Dandy, who was born in 1854. They had two children, Cora Pearl Finch, born in December 1891, who gave the rocking chair to Mr. Doug Wardle's child, and Russell Barbie Finch, born in January 1894. In the 1911 Canada Census, a girl named Dorothy Finch, born in 1909, appeared as one of the family members. Miss Cora never married. From the above information, I created a family tree for the Finch family. John Finch was buried at St. John's York Mills Anglican Church Cemetery. Unfortunately, there is no tombstone set up for John Finch to reveal more information about him. However, the staff at St. John's York Mills Anglican Church provided valuable information about his children. Mr. John Finch's son, John Davidson Finch, was a warden of the church in 1857, 1959, and 1967. He registered himself as a farmer in the Canadian Census. Mr. John Finch's daughter, Jane Finch, was an organist at the church for many years. St. John's York Mills Anglican Church, built in 1816, is the oldest church in North York and the second oldest in Toronto. Deterioration over the years led in 1843 to the replacement of the wooden church with a brick one, which has grown over the years into the building as it is today. St. John's Anglican Church is also well known for its barrel organ, one of only a few of its kind in Canada. According to the church's historian, Il Dennis, the barrel organ was the church's main instrument until the 1860s, when a small cottage or finger organ was installed. In the book 150 Years at St. John's York Mills by M. Audrey Graham, it is mentioned many times that Miss Jean Finch got thanks for her efforts as the organist. She played. The barrel organ was good at playing the finger organ and served with the church choir. It is known that in her home, Miss Jane Finch played with considerable skill on an organ-toned melodeon. Miss Cora Pearl Finch recalled her aunt's organ-toned melodeon, which she herself learned to play. She says that Jane Finch took lessons in the city, possibly at the cathedral. Today, little remains of the Finch family's property in the area. We found this photo of John Finch farmhouse at the Toronto Public Library. According to the information, the house was built at 5617 Yonge Street, but demolished in 1977. On its site, there is now a business building. A commercial community has been developed on the farmland that John Finch purchased in 1847, which consists of commercial buildings, a bus terminal, and residential buildings. A special remembrance of the Finch family is expressed on several historical plaques erected in the area. The Toronto Transit Commission has erected a Finch plaque at the TTC Finch station to introduce John Finch. On the plaque erected by the Ontario Historical Society for Newton Brook, it mentions Finch's Hotel is one of the most popular inns and taverns found in Newton Brook. On the plaque erected by Heritage Toronto for Newton Brook, John Finch is shown as the owner of Finch farmland on the 1878 map. Now, Finch Avenue has become an arterial thoroughfare that travels east-west in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Built on the Finch farmland, TTC's Finch Station and GO Bus Finch Terminal carry some of the highest numbers of commuters in Toronto. Thousands of people take buses and ride the subway here every day. As local pioneers, the Finch family still accompanies people who came to this land. Finally, we are grateful for the generosity of people like Douglas and Retta Wardle, who provide opportunities for the public to learn about history through these artifacts. The North York Historical Society maintains a continuous collection of old photographs, documents, and historical artifacts related to the history of North York through numerous years of hard work. The North York Historical Society remains dedicated to collecting documents and artifacts related to North York's history. If you want to donate historical items, please contact us and find the related information on our website.